Thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. I'm Maria Moreau. We are back with our weekly segment, The Money Talk, where we bring on a financial expert to talk a little bit about those money tips you know you need. It's a new year. A lot of us have financial resolutions, including some of our newlyweds. We are headed into a wedding season. So let's talk about planning out those 2023 milestones and keeping your financial budget in mind. And joining me today is Kasey Gartner with Northwestern Mutual. She's a wealth management advisor. She has some really awesome tips to share with us. How you doing, Kasey? Hey, so right into this, I want to just talk a little bit about why it's important to think about this ahead of taking those spontaneous trips that we want to take and just, I guess, making the most of those celebrations. You know, you talk about newlywed couples. This is an exciting time for them to be together, but then we bring money into it and it gets a little more complicated.
That it does. It does complicate things a little bit.
So as we head into 2023, plan out those milestones, what are some of the first things that newlywed couples should keep in mind?
Just like any relationship, it's about communication. And I feel like culturally, there's a lack of communication around money and finances. And so people don't really even know how to start those conversations. Often it's helpful to have someone like a financial advisor, such as myself, to be that objective third-party intermediary to help facilitate the dialogue between couples as it relates to their goals and objectives and milestones for the year.
And we talk about couples facing this financial journey together, some for the very first time. And you might argue that they say they're at a point where we don't have enough wealth built up to even consider having a financial planner. Why is this a common myth that people believe? And can you talk a little bit about the importance of having financial planning in place at this stage of a relationship?
That's an excellent question. We see that a lot in terms of people not feeling that they're in a position to have a financial advisor yet. I don't feel like it's ever too early. I'm a big proponent of having a plan in place, even when there's not the funds necessarily yet to feed into the plan, because you want to make sure that you're aware of different benchmarks as your career grows and as your life progresses, so that you're able to identify different goalposts and are able to plan accordingly, rather than looking back on a long career and having missed opportunities because you just weren't aware.
How can combing through your finances as a couple, as this partnership that you've now stepped into together, help you reach those 2023 milestones, whether that's financial milestones or enjoyment and entertainment milestones? Just what is the significance of sitting down and coming together in this way?
Well, again, the communication is key, but it's helpful for an accountability standpoint. Also, as people wait longer potentially to get married, they're so used to not having to answer to anybody when it comes to money or finances. So they're having to shift behaviors a little bit, which may be a little bit uncomfortable, but at the same time, when you can celebrate the wins together, you end up having more success. It builds upon itself.
And we talk about financial planning and what exactly that could look like. As you sit down with a financial planner, what are some things that newlywed couples can expect in that first appointment?
It's a really great question, and oftentimes people don't know what to expect. A good rule of thumb is to just make sure that you're both coming together and finding this person to be creating a safe space for you to have open dialogue around money and finances, especially if it's a topic that you're not typically conversing about. And different advisors function differently. I like to think that just because somebody's name shows up on a quarterly account statement, that doesn't necessarily make them a financial advisor, though it can. There's just so many moving parts. And being on the same page with one another, but also with the advisor, to make sure you're all working toward a common goal is going to be important.
You know, I was watching one of my favorite shows the other day, Modern Family, and it came up, you know, the financial topic as a couple, as a newlywed couple, navigating the world together. And it was mentioned, one person is usually the dreamer and the other is the realist, holding the balloons down to the ground. We see that dynamic sometimes in relationships, and that can sometimes cause a challenge when talking about reaching financial goals together. What is the best way for couples to assess what types of financial persons they are as individuals and work together within that dynamic?
I think they know what kind of person they are when they show up to the relationship, if they're the spender or the saver, as we like to say. And one can help hold the other accountable in other ways. Somebody may not enjoy life as much as they otherwise would had they not had a partner that's more spendthrift, as an example, and vice versa. So again, it's about having that dialogue, those conversations, celebrating the wins together, prioritizing as well. A lot of newlyweds fall into the trap of just wanting to do it all at once. They have the wedding, they buy the house, they want to do the improvements, and you don't have to tackle it all in the first year either.
I couldn't have said that better myself. You know, in the same way that we pick our partners for life, we should probably pick our compatible financial planner. What are some questions that couples can ask a financial planner to gauge whether that planner is compatible with what they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, it's really, again, to the point of a lot of people don't even know what to ask because they've never talked about money or finances before. It's really having the unspoken feeling with that person to know that that advisor has created a safe space for the couple, either individually or together, to ask any question. There's nothing that should be off limits. That should be a judgment-free zone. It should feel very safe to talk about money and finances. And because people haven't had much of a dialogue around it before, they just don't know where to start, and they may feel some kind of way about bringing up a topic in front of an advisor where, as an adult, they might think that they should know all of these things and have all of these financial puzzle pieces all fit together nicely, and it doesn't look like that yet, and it's okay. And again, feeling comfortable enough with that advisor relationship to be able to ask anything.
We're talking with Kasey Gartner. She's a wealth management advisor with Northwestern Mutual. Kasey, I want to make sure we don't leave anything out. A lot of these newlyweds, possibly some people still planning out their big wedding day. Any final financial tips from you to those individuals?
Just make sure you're communicating with one another, and if that's a stumbling block, which it's okay, it often is, to enlist the help of a professional.
Thank you so much for your time. All of these tips that we just talked about and a full link to connect with Kasey and the rest of the Northwestern Mutual team is going to be on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. Kasey, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.